Welcome back to Bible Journaling 66 and Chapter 5 in the book of Daniel. Approximately 16 years had passed between Chapter 4 and the events recorded in Chapter 5. Nebuchadnezzar has passed away, and Nabonidus took his place as king of Babylon around 556 BC. While he was in the field of battle, Belshazzar, his son, remained in Babylon, second in command. Gobryas, the Medo-Persian general who conquered the city of Babylon in 539 BC, was besieging the city at the time of this chapter. While the enemy was besieging the city, Belshazzar was having a big cocktail party with all his guests, defying the enemy outside. He decided to bring the sacred vessels from Israel's temple that his grandfather Nebuchadnezzar had captured and stored away with reverence. The king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank from these holy vessels. They praised their gods of gold, of silver and brass, iron and wood, and of stone. This blasphemous act incurred the anger of Almighty God. That very same hour, an angry God inscribed a message on the wall for this king with his very own hand. The king was terrified and called for the wise men of Babylon and promised great rewards to anyone who could read it and interpret it. But once again, they were unable to give him the meaning of it. Now the queen steps into the chaos and has a suggestion. She reminds him that King Nebuchadnezzar had a wise man who he made master of all the wise men in Babylon. He was known for his wisdom and ability to interpret. Daniel, aka Belteshazzar. Daniel is then brought into him, and he verifies that Daniel is that same person that Nebuchadnezzar knew and trusted. He then explains to Daniel that the wise men could not interpret the handwriting. He then offers the same rewards that he offered to his Chaldeans, riches, and even to be the third ruler in Babylon. Daniel politely turns down the rewards and tells him that he would interpret the writing for him. Daniel then addresses the king, reminding him how great his grandfather Nebuchadnezzar was. He continues by reminding him of the king's high-mindedness, and then how God had to bring him down. He also reminded him that God rules the kingdoms of men and appoints over them whoever he will. He goes as far as to chasten Belshazzar by saying, "But you knew all this, and still you lifted up yourself against the Lord, bringing in the vessels of the temple and dishonoring them." He then tells him it was God's hand who wrote on the wall these words, "Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin." I believe these words were written in the Hebrew language, as none of the Babylonians could translate. He then goes on to tell him what these words meant. Mene is translated number. Literally, number. God had numbered the kingdom's days. Tekel means weighed, that he was found weighed in the balance and found wanting. The word upharsin means divided. The word changed to Perez in verse 28, and it can be confusing. Upharsin to Perez is a shift in form from plural to singular, while the underlying concept of division and the impending takeover by the Medes and the Persians remains the same, and that his kingdom would be divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then Belshazzar gave Daniel the rewards that he had promised, even though he didn't want them. And that very night he was killed. And Darius the Mede took the kingdom, and Babylon was no more. This last verse in chapter 5 gives us a historical tidbit in these last words, telling us that the age of Darius, which was about 62 years old, which means he was 62 when he led the armies to conquer Babylon. Belshazzar was slain. He had been weighed and found wanting. God does that. He uses his scale and his standards. He says to you and me, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Darius the Mede became the ruler of the kingdom of silver. He came with a sudden attack and destroyed Babylon. Isaiah the prophet had prophesied the fall of Babylon in Isaiah chapter 21. In a future day, another Babylon will fall by the hand of God. We can read about it in the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Thus will end man's civilization, and a new age will begin. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Maranatha. Please like, share, and subscribe. God bless.